everyone, and welcome to She Rides, the podcast for women cycling faithfully. I'm Saar.
And I'm Kristof, and today we're diving into the latest race results and hot topics in women's cycling.
And we have a guest joining us to share her story. Let's get started. Ready? Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 63 of She Rides. At the moment, we're recording after a very hectical start with technical issues. Not everything solved yet, but hopefully we keep on going. Of course, today, excited, the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad and better said the Classics countdown is finally or almost over. So of course we're gonna really preview the upcoming races in that, but it would be a bit plain if we would just do that and call it a day. So we have a very interesting guest joining us today. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Saar. Hi, Kristof. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's super nice to have you on. I think I can speak for both of us. So let's get into the questions.
Yes, Charlotte, let's first start with the beginnings. Introduce yourself, please.
Yes. Hello, Kristof and Saar. My name is Charlotte Vandenberghe. I'm 31 years old. I'm based near Ghent in Flanders, Belgium. I think everybody knows the city where Omloop will start soon. I work mostly as a family doctor in a group practice, but alongside that, I'm also supporting the human-powered health cycling team as one of their team physicians. I'm married and I have a 1-year-old daughter, so I think it's a great mix. The both jobs that I'm practicing. One moment you're treating a child with a fever in the clinic, and the next moment you're standing somewhere along the road in Italy with bandages and bidons waiting for the riders. So it's a nice combination.
Exciting, twisted lifestyle. We never had a team doctor with us, Charlotte, so that is
really?
super nice to have this side.
Great.
And you will be working this weekend at the Omloop.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Tell us, Charlotte, how did you get to where you are today? How did you become a team doctor for human-powered health?
It was mostly, I would say, by staying curious and being open to new experiences. And I've always tried to follow what feels for me meaningful and what keeps my work interesting. Because I think that if you get stuck in the same routine for too long, it's a bit easy to lose that spark. And yeah, I got in touch with somebody of the men's cycling team and we had a good conversation. And a long time I thought, it's nothing for me, or it's too far from me. But yeah, after that conversation, the ball went rolling and an opportunity was there suddenly, and I took it with both hands, and now I am one of the team physicians.
That's nice. And where did your passion for cycling and then in particular women's cycling begin?
Well, strangely enough, like many Flemish people, I grew up with cycling. Always somewhere in the background. Like there was always a race on TV, and half of the time the road in front of your house was closed because of a local race. I think we all know that scenery. So it was impossible to completely escape it. But my real introduction came through my family-in-law, who are really mad about cycling, like their whole life is cycling. And I remember we had to come home from a family trip earlier to watch Strade Bianche, and I was like, what are we doing? Why can we just not stay another afternoon? At that time, I really didn't understand the hype. But then they started explaining the tactics and the dynamics of the race, and I began to see the beauty of it. And yeah, from that moment, I was sold. I know it sounds a bit strange. I think it was 2018 or 2019, so not so long ago. But yeah, it was that moment that changed. And from then, I started watching women's races mostly, also a bit the men's races, but mostly the women's races. And of course, because I live in Belgium, I went to see the races as well, and I really like the folklore aspect almost, because the riders, they pass just a half a meter in front of you and it's really accessible for everybody. So that aspect I really I really love it.
Do you cycle yourself too, Charlotte? Do you ride?
I cycle myself, but I never
Yeah.
did a cycle
Yeah.
like a race. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I love
Okay.
it as well.
Lucky husband that you bought into the cycling philosophy with the family-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It was actually his dream to become a team physician, and I stole it a bit.
Oh
He
no.
went on another path, and then I thought, well, nice dream. I'm gonna do it.
Sounds nice. And well, I think we kind of know the answer, but did you always know you wanted to work in sports medicine, or was it just like an opportunity that came along and you were like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's jump.
Well, yeah, it developed gradually, and the more I became interested, the more I started thinking about how my medical background could fit into that world, because I did 3 years of neurology, and unfortunately, concussions and all of that comes along in cycling. But also apart from that, I'm a GP, so a family doctor, and I have a broad experience from the smallest kid until the oldest person in Flanders. So I was thinking that I could fit into that world, but and I was also looking for some variation from the classic family doctor routine. But yeah, it was an opportunity, like I said, and sometimes it feels a bit insecure, but you just have to do it, and it turned out good, and I'm still really, really happy about that decision.
That's good. And what is it like to work in a male-dominated sport, even in women's cycling still today? Not only among athletes, but also the staff.
Well, because I only joined the professional peloton last year, so this is my second year as a team physician. I personally haven't experienced it extremely male dominant, and our team consciously invested in the women's program, because in the earlier years we used to have a male program as well, but that doesn't exist anymore. And actually, we have a very good balance between men and women in our staff. So that makes already a big difference. And of course, there are still some structural differences, mainly due to budgets in women's cycling. But in a way, it pushes us to work smarter. Like, we focus on evidence-based medicine and we avoid unnecessary testing or overly experimental things. We try to be very efficient with what we have, and I think that is actually a really healthy approach. But yeah, at the same time, I think we don't define innovation only as expensive apps or high-tech tools. It can also be about how we collaborate better with the team. For example, improving the communication between the physicians and the trainers and the dietitians, so we can support the riders better. So yeah.
I think that's what makes women's cycling still so cool, even though it's getting more and more professional. You just have to invent on the fly sometimes with like nearly zero budget.
Yeah.
The amount of time I begged already for pictures for team high tech products fluid control, because there's no budget to pay a photographer. So I'm like, you have any pictures we can use? And like, you just get creative ways around. So I guess it's for you. Well, of course, Human Powered Health is World Tour, so the
Yeah, it's
level is a
World Tour,
bit
so
different, but
yeah. And we
still,
had a
it's
really, really cool and good photographer. But apart from that, sometimes you have to be creative. It's not that we don't have a budget at all, but we have to be very aware of how we spend the money. And yeah, sometimes it's annoying because you have the feeling you want to do more, but on the other side, you really think very consciously of what you're spending your money on. And you try to do, you only have one chance. Like, it feels like that.
yeah.
Nice. Problems are sort of fixed, so I'm back. Let's now go a bit more into like the women's cycling aspect of the job. So you do have the experience a couple of years now in women's cycling, but what do you think what do you think is biggest difference between working in women's cycling and men's cycling?
Well, as I said, I never worked in men's cycling, so it's a bit difficult to speak about that. But we can say that female athletes, they definitely face from the medical side, other medical challenges than men, because their anatomy is obvious different. The saddle area, for example, is structured differently in women, which can lead to issues like saddle sores and numbness and irritation if the bike isn't perfect. And of course, man has that as well, but the anatomy, in fact, is totally different when you compare a woman to a man. And then there's also the physiology, like the menstrual cycle, that affects the hormones, the energy levels, the recovery, and sometimes even injury risk. So we really have to pay attention to it when planning training and evaluating the fatigue level. Another important factor, I think, is the energy balance, because women in endurance sports, also men in endurance sports, they are really at risk of the red S, like the female athlete trial, they called it in the past, if they aren't eating enough to match training, and that can affect other things as well. And then there's also something unique, and that's pregnancy and motherhood, I think, in female riders, because more riders are returning to the peloton after having children. More riders are getting pregnant, or I have the feeling that more riders are getting pregnant, which is inspiring, but it requires careful medical guidance and also team support, because unfortunately the stigma still exists that we assume that a career is over once a rider is pregnant. But I think that with the right approach, athletes can return strong. So yeah, the challenges, I would say, in women's cycling aren't necessarily bigger than the men's, but they are different and often more complex, I feel, which is why understanding them is key to keeping them healthy and performing their best.
Yeah. Well, then maybe a bit of a rhetorical question. Do you think there is enough scientific research focused on female endurance riders?
No. Unfortunately not. And it's actually almost historically that a lot of research, but also a lot of sports research, but not only sports research, but scientific research was done on male persons and on male athletes. And I think we're catching up. Because I was reading an article, and I still have to read it through. I was reading it diagonally, and that I think it was in the New England, which is like a really important scientific journal for physicians, and it said that women would have more symptoms and more severe symptoms and a harder return to sports after a concussion on the bike compared to male. So we're catching up, I think, in the research, but there's still a gap. And the key areas of uncertainty, they remain, such as the impact of the menstrual cycle. It's still a bit unclear. Oral contraceptive use, because a lot of riders use it. We don't know the effect of it. Long-term health outcomes in female endurance athletes. So I think most of the time, actually, in practice, we adapt the knowledge from the men's research to women. And we also learn from the real world experience within the team, and those two together with the little evidence we have on women, we try to make the best of it.
Yeah. And something completely else, actually. Do you think it's important to have female medical staff as well in the majority of teams in women's sport?
I would say yes, and I also think in male sport, actually. Because I think everybody can, not that I want to say that women are more sensitive, but I think they have another approach, and sometimes I think even the male riders, I think it can help to have medical staff or staff from both sexes, let's say. I do think it's important that at least one doctor in a women's team is female, because sometimes the riders, they want to discuss very personal things, very intimate issues. And having someone they feel completely comfortable with can really lower that threshold. And it's actually all about accessibility and trust. It's also in my normal job all about accessibility and trust. And that doesn't mean that male doctors cannot do an excellent job, because many do, but it's just that little extra to have confidence.
And then want to round this women's cycling section up a bit. Do you feel like, of course, you've not been, you've been 2 years into to the team, but have you seen the level of professionalism in women's cycling evolve?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I hope we all saw it. And I also hope that the public opinion will also evolve with it, because I have the feeling that in the earlier years, there was a lot of criticism about the tactics that the women
Yeah.
did in the races. And sometimes I got really furious about that. But apart from that, I can say, or I have the feeling that the level has increased enormously in the recent years. Training, nutrition, medical follow-up, race organization, it has all improved, and the riders are really professional, I can say. And the support systems around them are growing as well. So I think it is going in the right direction.
Yeah, the public perspective, you're in the right place. And last year, I think we all remember the frustration also here on the podcast about why is a break winning in the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad exactly boring? What does it make it boring?
I don't. Yeah. Like, I have all my respect for Pogacar, but that is actually more boring to watch because you know he's going to win, and
Yeah.
okay, he's a great rider, but honestly, sometimes it's a bit boring.
Yeah,
And I don't have that in women's cycling. I think there's always that kind of excitement and adrenaline, and I really love it, because now as well with the main riders more divided in the other teams, it's not the same like a few years ago that SD Works won everything. It's more complex, and it's really nice to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I think for those who actually watched cyclocross, I mean, okay, it was very cool and very strong what Van der Poel was doing. But what you hear right then, it's watching greatness. We are so lucky. But then I'm like, isn't this feels quite boring to me. And then meanwhile, you have media talking about really exciting races like the Amstel, probably one of the most exciting races of the season, it being too boring. Why is women's cycling boring? I don't know. Who said that?
Yeah, I really hope that public opinion will change, and I think it will, because I can see a change in my own inner circle. Like with my friends, we used to go watching the Omloop since several years, because it's really the beginning of
Yeah.
of the cycling season here in Flanders. And like a few years ago, it's mainly a males group, and then some partners that came into that group. And in a few years ago, they didn't want to watch the women's race. They just stayed in the pub, and they waited until the man came by, and I really hated it. So in the early days, I was there along cheering next to the road, and now we're all there. So I really like it that it's changing, and it should change, because actually they're performing the same sport. It's just a different gender. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, good. The 780 kilometers solo from Pogacar is heroic, but the win from Lotte Klaas was like, oh, what a boring race. Don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take us back to the medical side, Charlotte, for a while.
Yes.
Just for the listeners and for ourselves too, maybe. What are the most common injuries in professional women's cycling?
Well, in professional cycling, injuries are just one part of what we manage, I would say. Of course, you have the crash-related injuries, like the cuts, the fractures, the concussions, and those are quite obvious. But we also have a lot of overuse injuries, like knee pain, back pain, saddle discomfort, and those are really, really common as well. and those can also like play a very important role in how a race goes. They are very common due to the long hours on the bike, and the smallest change can make a really big problem. And that's something that people don't expect when they ask me, what do you do the whole time? Is it only like the fractures and when they fall and when there is a crash? And I'm like, no, because we also deal a lot with everyday illnesses. Riders get colds, stomach bugs, dehydration, sleep issues, just like anyone else. And because they're traveling constantly, even a minor illness can affect performance or risk spreading to the whole team because they really live close together. They always share a room when they're on race or on a training camp. So we really have to think about that as well. And also there is the mental health, which is equally important. While cycling is physically and emotionally really intense with long races, long training hours, but also a lot of time away from home. So riders can really express stress, anxiety, sometimes burnout. And it's part of my role to check in regularly with them, to provide support and to make sure they have access to professional help when that's needed. So I think those are the big four. The crash-related injuries, the overuse injuries, the everyday illnesses, and then the mental health.
Yeah, just a side question. Are you 24/7 available for the team members, or is it just on
Yeah.
race day or on team camps when you're joining them?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
I have, I think, 40 race days this year. So that means that 40 days this year I will be physically there, mostly during races or the day before. But apart from that, I'm 24. I try to be accessible
Yeah.
24/7. I will not say that I sometimes put my phone off during the night, but I try to be accessible in the evenings, in the morning, during the weekends, because there's not so much difference between a working day or a weekend day for a rider. So yeah,
Yeah, viruses don't care if it's weekend or weekday.
unfortunately not.
Unfortunately, yes. Oh, but that's a good thing. Then you're one of the single points of contact as a team doctor for the whole team. So they know like Charlotte is one of our doctors, and we can be there every time we need her. So that I think that helps building the trust in the team as well. They
Yeah.
have always the same people available to them.
Yeah. And I
Good.
think that counts for our whole team. Yeah, like of course the soigneurs, they are physically there, but I can also say like our management or DS or coach, everybody is really accessible. I don't know how it is with other teams, but of course we try to not overwhelm each other on a Sunday evening or when we know that somebody is on holiday with his family, but we keep contact during weekends as well, and it's a normal thing, but still healthy, I would say.
Yeah, good. And then a very important aspect of the job, I think. How do you handle concussion protocols after crashes? Because I can imagine that's a really stressful moment. The rider is full of adrenaline. She wants to continue racing. She says like, I'm fine, but you have to stay calm, assess, are you concussed or not? Make a decision, like
Yeah.
in a blink of an eye, basically. Because
Yeah.
do you continue or not? You cannot wait 5 minutes because then the race is over.
Yeah. Well, there I have to say that I'm not in the race car. So I'm mostly in one of the cars that does the feed zones. So that means that when the crash happens, I'm not physically there.
Yeah.
And I think that's for most of the doctors and most of the cycling teams. But because the big difference between male and female cycling is that in most races, we only have one race car and not two. Only in stage races, we have two race cars in the race itself. So when it happens, most of the time, I'm not right there next to them. And then the call is mostly made by the DS who is right next to the rider or by the race doctor, okay? But it happens sometimes that in the heat of the moment, the rider, like there's a natural reflex, they get up, they get on the bike and they want to get back to the peloton. And that's a really tricky moment, because in that really short moment, you have to assess if a rider can still do that. And it happened in the past that it was really difficult for the DSs because they don't have a medical background. But we started to hand over our knowledge a bit to them, and they know what questions they have to ask them to assess if they had a loss of consciousness and clear memory loss. And I think if one of those two, to make it really easy, if there is a clear memory loss and the rider doesn't know anymore where she is or what she's doing or what race this is or what day it is, or if there was a loss of consciousness, then we will take the rider out. And we are really strict in that, because we just know that if you have a second impact during that race, during that period of increased vulnerability, that it can worsen a brain injury and it can significantly delay a recovery. So we're really strict with that. We will do an immediate removal from the bike if that's necessary, because repeated concussions within a short period are really bad for your brains. And that is actually with the long-term health in mind that we will take them off. And it happened in the past that riders didn't appreciate, but most of the time, after the emotions went down a bit, they know that we only want the best for them. So yeah, but that's always a really difficult moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. And speaking of long-term athlete health, you just touched it with the concussions. But as a team doctor, how do you balance performance optimization with long-term athlete health? Do you have the power to say like, no, this athlete is out of competition for X amount of time because well, she's starting to feel ill, she's overtrained, she's developing red S symptoms, for example, so take her out. How do you balance like performance with the long-term health of the athlete?
Also, that is a really sensitive topic, but I can say, and I'm really happy that I'm in a team like that without making too much publicity. But long-term health always comes first. Like because we are a team of 3 doctors actually, and we discuss between each other, we would never do something purely to boost performance if it could harm the rider in the end. And I hope that is the same for every team, and whether it's training or supplements or medical decisions, we would always think about the health of the rider. And it's something that I always repeat to the rider when I'm like next to them or in a room alone with them, is that my main role is really to protect the rider's health, and everything we do has to fit within that. And yeah, I just want them to know that we're not puppets of the team. Even when we're paid by the team, we have our own responsibility as a doctor to treat the athlete and to care about her well-being. And that's why it's crucial for doctors in sport, I think, to understand both medicine and also the realities of elite riders and performance. It's not easy, but it's also something that you learn by doing. Like in the beginning, I was a bit scared to speak up because, yeah, if you take one rider out, then somebody else has to fall in, and then the pressure on the other ones is also higher, and they have to do more races or they have to do more travel. So you take care of one rider, but on the other hand, the other ones, you put more stress on the other ones. So you really have to think a lot about that. But I think I never felt forced to let a rider ride. I think we're really human in our team, and that's what I really like. And I really hope that it's also like that in other teams, and that every rider feels really safe.
Mhm. Yeah, let's hope. I think at least it improved the last couple of years. I wouldn't say it's probably not 100% yet, but it's improving. I think in most of the teams. And how important is mental health in your daily work?
Really, really, really important, I would say. I myself, I make a point of checking in with the riders every day when I'm at the race. I visit them in their rooms or I see them during the race, and I'm usually also at breakfast with the team. I try to go to them myself, but I also make sure they feel comfortable coming up to me and easily telling me how they are doing. I try to have an idea of their support system at home so I can really understand how well a rider is surrounded and to give extra support when needed. And yeah, we really try to invest in that trust so that they feel really comfortable of telling us how they feel. We also have a psychologist in our team. And I think it's really, 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 really necessary for every elite rider to have sometimes a talk from time to time, because I think we cannot imagine how hard it is to be between your own ears the whole time and try to keep up with that training schedule and try to do as best as possible. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's important.
let them feel human from time to time instead of robots that are just chasing numbers these days.
Yeah, yeah,
Every
yeah.
now and then might be
Yeah.
useful. And now in 2026 that the climate changed a lot within the peloton, I think. Do riders talk like openly about their menstrual cycles and how it affects their performance today now? Is
Yeah.
that now a common thing in the peloton?
Yeah, I have to say that in our team, there's very little stigma around it, which is great because it's an important factor in training and well-being. So we try to discuss it openly, and I think we even have to give more attention to it than we already do. I think that that's one of the things that we as a team can maybe even put more investment in, to really know how the cycle is and where they are and how they feel. By documenting that, we can maybe see trends in their performance. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. Um, and how do you approach the important issue of red S within the team?
This year, for the first time, we screened all our riders. We used for that universal questionnaires. It was a leaf Q questionnaire. We also did the lab tests and bone scans even. We have luck that our main sponsor is Human Powered Health, which is, yeah, like a lab in America or that has these scans. So we could get them with our main sponsor, which we are really thankful for. And based on these results put together, we created like a red S chart for every rider showing their risk score and what the consequences are or what measures were linked to it. So the riders are actually categorized in a kind of traffic light system from green to yellow, orange, or red. And I just realized that a traffic light doesn't have a yellow color, but okay, green, yellow, orange, red, indicating the levels of risk that they have at this moment based on their score and what they need to do. So, for example, for somebody who is in green, everything is good. They have, I wouldn't say no risk, but they have really low risk on red S. For somebody in yellow, for example, or in orange, we want them to at least have some context with a sports nutritionist that has experience with red S, or a sports psychologist that has special experience in eating disorders or in other things that come with red S. So we really try to make a difference there between the riders and advise them on what help they actually need, because we want that the yellow riders turn back to the green, but it will take some time.
Mhm. And are you monitoring them more closely and closely once they turn yellow, orange, red?
Yeah. Yeah. They also have to do a bit of more lab work, and we try to stay in contact with their nutritionist and a psychologist as well. Of course, we respect like the medical, how do you call it, the medical secrecy. So
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
know that the psychologist cannot tell everybody, but we try to have a bit of a closer look.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then something you kind of already spoke about, but how much of your job is prevention versus emergency care?
Well, in an ideal world, we would we would focus mostly on prevention, and that's also in my main job. But unfortunately, we have to treat a lot of problems that come along the way. So it's not always possible to focus on prevention. But I would say that because our team has little turnover of both the staff and the riders this year, I've noticed that we can do much more prevention than, for example, the last year. Also, because we're the same team of 3 doctors, we know each other already a bit, so we really try to monitor the training loads and speak closely to the coaches to prevent, for example, the overuse injuries. We try to make a list of, for example, physicians near the hometown countries of where the riders live. So we have trustful contacts that we say, okay, you have this problem, we have this and this and this contact close to your home. You can reach out to this person. Or, oh, you have an ingrown toenail. We know somebody who's really good in this. We know somebody who does custom fit shoes there. So we try to extend that, really, to make it the rider as easy as possible, so that the rider doesn't have to lose time on searching and going from one place to another. So that's something I have the feeling that we can do way more than last year. Next to that, we are trying to educate the riders also a bit more. For example, on training camp, we ask the sponsors, if they deliver their product, to not just deliver the product, but also to give explanation about why it is necessary and what the rider can gain from wearing, for example, a heat sensor, what's in there for them. So yeah, we try to do it as much as it can, but I have to say that the more the season develops, the more the prevention gets a bit more to the back, because you have all these injuries coming in, and sometimes it can get really chaotical, but we try to keep the head cool.
That's always first and foremost the most important thing you should do. Yeah, super interesting so far already, Charlotte. Let's take a little break from the medical side, and Saar, let's go to the latest news for a bit. You
Good
can
news
start with
for you.
Usmala, and then we can just wrap up cyclocross until September, October. Please.
We've just had the final cyclocross of not the year, of the season. Osmala, as always, we saw, of course, Lara Verdonschot's last race. She hung up the bike on the stage, and we saw maybe somewhat of a surprising win for Inge van der Heijden, because she was like on the end of the season, she was like fading a bit, but Alvarado was very strong in the beginning. She had like she lost some time, then she came back, and in the end she had some chain problems. So Van der Heijden still got to beat her. I just want to say something else. Being brave gets awarded, because the only one who predicted 1, 5, and 10 did get at least 1 out of 3, and you guys failed completely. So just wanted to mention that. Always predict when I ask you to. Yeah. Something else I can tell you. Ribeirol got 3rd, and so the right prediction of me was Chili Brouwers on 5. So you know. So that was it for the cyclocross season. We had some more racing, actually, in Almeria, in Spain, obviously. We had 2 guests racing, Connie Hayes and Paula Blasi. She was in the winning team. There was no live stream. I tried my best to find one. There was none. So I was just trying to see what was happening on the Pro Cycling Stats live ticker. So there was like a break, and then we saw Paula Blasi bridging to the break with, I think it was Celia Appleton from Levalula Jacob, but their continental team. And then they bridged, but not much later, a bigger group came there. And then it was Federica Venturelli who won the sprint there before Sierra from Movistar. And then we had Paula on 5. So that was that. Can I tell you something else? We had the team presentation of AG Insurance and Sudal.
Can we
Yeah?
can we get back for a moment to Almeria, Saar?
Sure,
Like
sure,
more
sure,
important,
sure.
did you saw the start list of the Almeria race?
Yeah, of course. 8
Jesus,
teams.
it's a point pro race. 8 teams, or what was it?
Yeah, 8
48
teams.
riders, 50 riders.
47.
UAE not even showing up with a full squad.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a point pro race. It's just a level below the World Tour racing. Like 8 teams, 48 riders. Well, the whole pro peloton is setting up camp in Spain.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like really.
Yeah.
And UAE even just showing up with half of their Devo team in a point pro race. I mean,
Yeah, they
come
did win.
on, do better.
It's
Oh,
more
this
to
stinks.
the other teams
I mean,
not showing up than UAE, I guess, because they did win. So
yeah, but they were only with 5 riders instead of 6. I mean, come on, for a team like UAE, at least line up 6 riders for Almeria. It's a point pro race. It's not a point 2 local race that you say like, yeah, just get some miles in before the season starts. It's a point pro race.
yeah.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, sorry, needed that to get off my chest.
No. That's fine. Yeah, it was indeed quite remarkable. That there hopefully we don't see too much of the scenarios
Yeah.
like this anymore. But so as I mentioned, AG and AG Insurance and Sudal both will be sponsoring the team till 2030. So nice to see a good long agreement. So a nice long time extra of AG in the peloton at least. Was there some more news? Yes, we had an extension of a contract for She Rides guest. Julie Van der Velde will be riding with AG at least till 2028. Same goes for Schepper, Goossens and Vroos Wild. And Ziegart will race there till 2027. I read some articles as well. Shakir will be focusing on the Ardennes together with Lecour. But she will also do the Tour of Flanders. And well, yeah, I think we're all also excited to hear when we will see the big Gigante come back. I didn't find anything yet on that, but hopefully in the coming months. That's something I'm looking forward to. And yeah, the Flemish classics mainly for Borghese and Bosset. So we will see these very soon in action. And then there was some sort of unrelated AG weird situation. I think we also remember Janina Kuskova. She was the only Tashkent rider who finished the Tour de France Van. The Tashkent times, remember?
The Tashkent Tour.
But I sort of know her. It's not super easy because her English isn't very good. So she was riding. Like last year she started there and this year she was doing it as well. She was riding with Laboral. But she posted on her Instagram story this week that she just rode her last race for Laboral and she would leave the team. But there was no official communication or something like that. Just some sort of an odd situation.
Is it related with Astana stepping in? Or partnering up with Laboral and
I don't know, from my
staff members from the past. I don't know.
She doesn't really know what comes.
Weird.
But
weird timing.
I think the language barrier and some other stuff didn't really make it easy. But yeah, who knows? So that was the latest non-related classics news. You can keep listening for that. But first, we have some more questions. Really get those listeners in till the very end. So no Omloop preview yet, but we can ask you a bit more about how a race day looks like for you. So I think this weekend you're heading to the Omloop. How does like a race day look like for you?
Oh, the lights turn off here.
It's the second
Uh,
part of
Let
the
me just turn
podcast.
on the light first.
Buckle up now.
Yeah. So I'll
Charlotte's dark
back
side is
now.
coming up.
So this
I think
podcast is really chaotic.
yeah. Now we all had our part.
Yeah.
Well, I usually arrive the afternoon before the race.
Mhm.
So this weekend, that will be on Friday afternoon. I finish work a bit earlier that day. And I go firstly on my right, on my round, not on my right, on my round, to the riders' rooms. Because some of them I haven't seen in person since training camp in December already. Some of them I saw in UAE. But it's amazing how much comes out when you see riders face to face compared to virtual check-ins. So that can be anything from a physical discomfort they didn't think was worth mentioning, like an ingrown toenail. I already give that example, but to mental issues, how things are at home, or just chatting about how hard it is to train in bad weather. It's really broad, actually. We just do a cozy chat, and it's really valuable to take the time to sit down, actually, and to talk about how things are going. And I think that when the riders feel that you care and you invest in them, they are more willing to share what's happening, both physically and mentally, and personally. After that, I make sure to go along all the staff who are present, because some of them I also didn't see for quite a while. And after that, I think I check the supplies, making sure we have enough wound care material. Always hope that I won't need it, but it's best to have some. And commonly needed medication, like to check if we have painkillers, something for diarrhea, something for nausea, something for stomach cramps or hay fever, and that nothing is expired of the medication, for example. And I think after that, it's basically already dinner time. So we try to have a relaxed moment at the table with all the staff. We really make a point of having dinner all together. With the staff, we really like to do that because a lot of the staff are away from home a long time. So it needs to be a bit cozy. And I think in the morning, I try not to bother the riders too much so they can prepare calmly. That's why it's really important to come the evening before. But I try to stay in a visible spot, like in the lobby of the hotel or on another table in the breakfast room, so they can reach out to me if it's necessary, but I won't stalk them anymore. I usually travel with the riders to the race in the same vehicle, because that again makes it easier for them to talk casually to me. And then during the race, then there's the whole preparation before the race starts. But actually, that's one of the most boring moments, I can say, because it's sometimes a really long time you have to wait before the start. But also that can be quite chaotic, because in the last moment something can always happen. Somebody can fall, or when it's warm we also have to give the ice jackets and make sure we think about that, and we think about the hydration as well. But that will not be the point for Omloop. Let's hope we do not need ice jackets. And during the race, then I go with the soigneurs on the route to hand out the bidons. It's nice. I like it to give the bidons. I like to practice it. And afterwards, I mostly do one feeding zone, and then we go to the finish, so I can provide first care, first aid if that's needed. But luckily, that has never been necessary, and I hope it will never be. And then I accompany the riders to the doping control if they are asked to do doping control. And when we get back to the team car, I think I quickly check who thinks they might need some medical help, and I already start treating wounds if they are. Once back at the hotel, the emotions have often settled a bit, and I do another round, sometimes really short, just popping my head in. Is everything okay? Can I help you with something? Sometimes more detailed if needed. So yeah, that's about it. I think in a staged race, we try to finish as much as possible before we arrive to the hotel, because it's really crucial that the riders can rest as much as possible. Because then you can see that the fatigue really builds up after day 4 or 5, and everybody starts to get more tired. So yeah, we try to be as efficient as possible, but for 1-day races, there's a bit more time, there's a bit more flexibility. So yeah, that's actually my day.
That's very nice. And then during the day, I suppose you're sort of following the race while you're on the road. What goes through your mind when there's a crash?
Well, mostly we only hear it like when it's already happened. So we try to put the race radio on, but it's actually quite surprising how bad you can follow the race when you work in cycling. And that was one of my biggest disappointments, that I really love to watch cycling, but I don't see anything of it. So that's, if you really like cycling, don't work into cycling, because you don't see anything of it and you're standing next to the road for a long time. But if I hear that there is a crash, I really hope just that everybody is all right, like from all the teams, and nobody got hurt, because it's always really scary, right? Yeah.
Do you feel like more nervous when you know it's like a more high risk race, like for example Roubaix, which is quite known for the sometimes dangerous scenarios, let's say it like that.
Yeah, I think Roubaix is really the one that I fear the most, because the cobbles are so dirty. But I think the normal classics, the not Roubaix classics, I'm not so scared about, because it's also a bit around my hometown, so it feels more like coming home for me, because I know the roads here. And we also know that a lot of incidents happen on a perfectly straight road when the mind is not focused anymore. So it's mainly Roubaix that I'm afraid for, but the rest is quite okay.
Nice. And you've mentioned it before, from time to time there are some chaotic situations. How do you try to keep the mind cool there?
Yeah, I think for me, it really helps to go back to the basics, like think as an independent doctor. What would I do? Like, it's the same approach actually as a parent when assessing their child. Like, I have a child myself, and it's really hard to, when she is sick, like, okay, what do I do? Because it's my own child, and sometimes my mind goes like this, and I try to do that as well with the riders. I take a step back and I think, okay, like, what if I was not the mother to this child? Then what would I do? And I try to do the same as a team doctor. Like, okay, what would an other doctor, independent doctor, do with rider with these symptoms? And it really helps, because that's the thing in cycling. You're used that they recover well. You're used that their recovery time is shorter. Like when you have a normal patient with a wrist fracture, you know that they will be in a plaster for 3 months, let's say. And with the rider, it's like 6 weeks, and then they're already on the bike, or they're already on the bike with a plaster. So you have to be really careful with that you don't go over it too easily, because they are so motivated. And then it really helps to take a step back and really think like, okay, it's my call. And I have to really think as an independent doctor. I'm not friends here. I'm a doctor, and I have to go for the safety of everybody. So that helps.
And in that some sort of situation, did you ever have to tell a rider, okay, you can start today? And how do you handle that sort of conversation?
I personally hadn't that situation yet, so I'm really lucky. But there were some situations already with my colleague doctors. And yeah, well, I had a situation that, for example, I had to send a rider home from Australia because she was sick, and I could really see she was motivated, but you also have to think about the others. They were living in the home and she was sick for a few days, and then you get the risk, because mostly it's contagious, that the others get sick as well. And what can they still mean for the team if they are riding sick? Actually, it doesn't have a point of riding a race when you're not feeling well. So that's was, I think, the hardest call I had to make. That doesn't sound so hard, but I think for the rider in person, it was hard at that moment, because it's always frustrating when you work that hard and you cannot finish it off or not even start. But I had some luck that I didn't have to make those calls yet.
Nice, nice. And then let's go to some additional questions. How big is the travel part of your job? Are you mainly like on the race when the races happen in Flanders or well, the Netherlands, if they organize still races, and Roubaix, for example, or is it like can they just put you to, for example, Australia, Guangxi, for example, at the end of the season?
Yeah, it can happen. Like we get our schedule, I think, yeah, a few months before, which I really appreciate, because we still have to fit it in our normal work. I think the three of us are still have a job at home, and so in that side, it's really nice to combine, because my job as a GP at home is mostly busy in the winter and more quietly in the summer, and cycling is the other way around. So in that way, they're really complementary. And of course, I do the Flemish classics because I live near Ghent, so it would be stupid to fly another doctor over. But for the rest, it's quite divided. I think this year I had UAE already, and then I have the Flemish classics, and then I have the tours. I'm really happy about the tour. What others do I have? I have Copenhagen Sprint Classics, I think, also raised in Switzerland. I'm not sure if it's Tour de Suisse or Tour of Romandie. I had Simac, but I'm not sure if we're heading there. And then probably in October, some small races in Italy. So for me, the travel part is not too bad, because I work, like I said, 40 days on site, let's say, being present at the races. But yeah, the virtually being available every moment, including the weekends, is sometimes the most extensive, because during the races you really live in a bubble. You're so busy with the race and the riders and the performance and the well-being that you forget all the rest. But at home, when the questions start coming in, or you have the calls and the meetings, then you're not in the bubble, and then you have to squeeze it in between your other work. But okay, you have to love it, I would say, to keep on doing it. And I think it's a bit the same with what you are doing, Kristof. You have to love it, because otherwise you don't do it. And deep down, I'm just a big fan as well, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, you for sure you won't become rich of it. Let's put it that way. If you do it for the money, get out of it.
Not in women's cycling.
Yeah. It's no, don't start.
No, that's
No,
true.
no, sure. You already mentioned it, Charlotte, that it's not so heavy, 40 days, but how do you handle like being on the road and as well as being available for the team, while also being a mother of a 1-year-old daughter?
Yeah, actually, I don't know how I manage. I think, yeah, it's also a bit, it's part of my job, and also my job as a GP or family doctor is not so much different from this job, because the riders are are also just normal people, but just with a higher threshold of suffering and really good legs. But they also have their ups and downs, and it's the same with my normal job. I cannot just close the door after my working day. Well, I do close the door, but and go on a vacation. I have to plan it really thoroughly, and it helps me to plan things. And I try to set clear boundaries for work and personal time. But yeah, sometimes it's not difficult. Sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes I also don't get it how I all fit it in. but I think what works the most for me is that I really love doing my job. And we are also 3 doctors, and we can really rely on each other from time to time, so that somebody can sometimes fully disconnect, because that's also necessary. We don't have to lie about that sometimes it's not easy, but that's actually a really difficult question. And I'm not sure that I gave a right answer, because I don't know how I do it. I think
Yeah,
that
but
the base is that I like it and that it doesn't feel as, it feels as working, but it's so different from my normal job that it gives such a nice variation.
mhm. Yeah, and it's often called parenting. When you look at it from a distance, you think like, nah, not able to manage, and then you just go with the flow, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
you just keep on rolling. It's-
yeah. That's
yeah, and
true. That's really well said.
and the big advantage is you can make your husband jealous. That you're living his dream job.
That's really true. Sometimes I feel really bad for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, poor guy. um, and can you at those moments, like for example, you go on a family holiday with your daughter and your husband, can you tell the world like, shut up, I'm off, I'm only available between 12 and 2 p.m. for example, or don't call me 24/7. I'm on family holiday, leave me alone unless there's an emergency, or is it easy to set those boundaries?
No, it's not easy. And I think as a GP, I can do, because I work in a groups practice, I can really leave it behind to my colleagues and try to plan it as much as possible. With cycling, it's a bit more difficult. And I noticed that I take more off days when the riders also have their off season, and I'm more on when the racing season is on. But the good thing is that when the racing season is really on and when you're not at the race, then probably all the riders are also at the race and the other doctors are at the race if you're not there. So that helps, that you know there's somebody there and the questions will go there. But of course, if there are emergencies, then I will, of course, pick up the phone. But it sounds worse than it is, actually. So yeah, but you have to keep an eye on it. And sometimes when I'm at the couch, and then because that's really the moment when they start to wake up, like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then the messages come in, and then my husband is like, oh, put away the phone. But no, most of the time he's really tolerant, and I try not to exaggerate in that. And also, not everything is super urgent, but I try to be accessible. But yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, same as a coach, Charlotte. Like in the weekend, all your athletes wake up, and like
Yeah.
tuk 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 tuk.
Yeah. In the morning, it's fairly quiet, I have to say. And
Yeah,
I wake up really early with the baby, and I'm like,
yeah.
well, I can answer questions in the morning as well. And it doesn't necessarily has to be the same evening, but I like it to not let them wait too long, because I think it's nice.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, what makes you a proud doctor at the end of the season?
Healthy riders. Full teams at the start, as you said. That really makes me proud. Unfortunately, we the last 2 seasons we had a lot of sick riders, a lot of injuries, and yeah, you notice that the morale gets a bit down and it puts a lot of stress on the other riders. So that would make me, next to wins and top 3 finishes, I would say, that would make me really happy to just have full teams at the end of the season. And I think last year, one particular rider had health problems, and I was really close with her, and seeing her strong on the bike again, that makes me really happy. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. We might have an idea who it was. we,
That could
we,
be possible.
we're very happy for her too.
Okay.
um, and what has been one of your most emotional moments with the team?
That's a difficult one. I don't know. I had a lot of great moments. I think maybe not so special for the outside, but I think Giro this last year was my first stage race, but that's just really personal. And it was really, really intense. And I think Barbara Malcotti, she finished 8th, I think.
Yes,
I think she was the first Italian rider after the Lamborghini. And it was really nice after the Giro ended that we really felt like one team, and parents of another rider, they came along with some fresh pastries, and it really felt like a family back then. And actually we didn't have big injuries. All the riders got to the finish, and it was we made it. That was nice.
Yeah, great. That's cool. Saar, are you ready for some Omloop preview? Because like you said, the classics countdown, it's almost over. Real cycling can begin now. Done done with the prep races abroad. Let's bring cycling home this weekend.
Yes, finally. Also, the annoying thing, I think, at least for me, was the week before the Omloop, it just went like quiet. We only had Almeria, and I was like, whoa, okay, we really need to wait right now for the racing to begin. But before we really start this Omloop preview, I'd like to actually have a round of applause for Flanders Classics, who succeeded in as well getting 2 Conti teams at the start.
Yeah, that's great news. That the Baloise Minimax team and
City Mesh, and I don't know the rest of their name.
yes. I was a little bit disappointed with the roster of Baloise. There's no Belgian girl in there.
No, but we do have She Rides.
Yeah, that's true.
In Fota, for those who don't have the participants list with them. Well, I was so well prepared yesterday. I made my participants list and I had a color code and everything, but with the laptop crashing, of course, I don't have it with me anymore. So I'm just gonna freewheel it. Maybe some of the, I think, biggest names first we need to look at as the Works Pro Time with Kopecky, Bredewold, Van der Berghe, Wiebes. I think the ones who succeed to beat an As the Works rider wins the race. I think it's as easy as that. And I don't think they will mess it up because I think they, bias or not, you can choose. They might have the strongest rider in their team, maybe. So they have that one for the climbs. And I think Lorena is also quite strong. And she won't be too far off if that doesn't work out. And then we have still Bredewold van der Berghe, who are obviously quite strong as well. So I really think they are the team to beat there. Some other teams, FDG is also starting with a super, super strong team. Vollering, Berghe, known as Labous, of course. In the first few races of the season, it's still allowed.
Anymore.
But maybe
no,
they
you
missed
can't.
that.
She's gonna be pissed.
Maybe they missed it, so they don't know it yet. So before the opening weekend, it's still allowed. They have Schauer as well. They have Guazzini. They have Koch, Van Acht. So that's like as well a crazy strong all-round team. Of course, if you have Vollering, yeah, then you have the all-round team and the individual strength as well. You have Zoe Backstedt. She was already racing, of course, but still going strong straight after the classic season. Consoni for sprint and Nivia Doma, of course. May be hard to win for her, but if she has the legs, she will be somewhat up there. For Phoenix, no Lotte Klaas at the start. So they put her on the Ardennes, which makes sense, but kind of sad for her that she can get that number 1 for that was the biggest chance for her to wear a number 1 in a big race, I think. So in that sort of way, I'm like, So yeah, who do we have there? Charlotte Cole, don't think this will be her race. We have Amelie Cousins, Marta Truijen, Christina Schweinberger, maybe. really looking forward to AG. They have a strong roster. How could it be with two DSs who have been here on She Rides? We have Letizia Borghesi. I'm really expecting great things of her. And yeah, we saw Sherry Bosset at Track Heroes and last year at the end of the season. So where's the limit for her there? Also, Ilse Plemmers has been super consistent last year, so also an exciting one. Then for EF, I don't know, are we expecting Kerbal to be up there in the final? Or
Not at this point of the season. No, I don't believe in it. No,
any other
too
thoughts
early.
for EF or
Not really. No, it's not.
was
It's
this
not
the
a
reason
team that
why
I get.
I asked you guys? Maybe, but
No, it's just
No.
it's just not the 6 riders that I get excited for
Yeah.
Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. I mean,
understandably,
it's a nice team, nice 6 riders, but
yeah.
not for Omloop. I'm like, nah, this is like second tier. This is just like, you never
Mhm.
know, breakaway or something. Yeah, well, miscalculation from SD Works and FDG maybe part 2.0. But other than that, no, Kerbal too early on the season, I
Mhm.
think. And the rest, nah, no. Nope.
For Human Powered Health, we of course have a She Rides guest at the start, Maggie Lister, but maybe we have a source from within Human Powered Health here, so maybe you can tell us a bit about what the expectations are for the team.
Yeah, I won't talk too much about the tactics because the plan is to beat the SD Works, of course, in the UAE and FDG. But I can say that we have really strong and I feel like a complete team at the start. Yeah, if I see it here, then we have amazing road captains and also amazing sprinters there who have a lot of punch in the legs. And then Talita, yeah, hopefully she can make a good debut here after Mallorca, where she did well as well, and also in Valenciana. So I hope this can be the cherry on the cake.
From a non-team
Yeah, that's it.
tactical side, then do you personally think all in for De Jong, or do you see a scenario happen where maybe the riders in the front look at each other because there's a certain Weebus around and it still ends up in some sort of a small group sprint, or what do you think?
I hope it will not be like the whole bunch arriving at the finish.
Yeah,
Because then we know who is going to win most of the
Probably.
time. But I feel like it will be an exciting race. Actually, I don't know what the weather predictions are. I didn't.
Okay, I
I thought it
think.
was going to rain.
How is it?
I'll see.
Or maybe
will
it
see
changed.
I will check it, but
Yeah.
we're just gonna get our Kami right here. And for now, they are saying Saturday. Ooh, rain. Ah,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, in
Nice.
So
the
it will be
afternoon,
really interesting
in
then.
the afternoon, there could definitely be some rain and around 10 to 12 degrees.
Yeah, so I definitely expect some small groups to
Yeah.
escape. I don't think it will be the whole bunch arriving at the finish with this weather. So
Oh, please not, Charlotte, because then we will get the comments again. Oh, women's cycling is boring. They're just waiting for a
But
group
last
sprint.
year we almost had a whole bunch with Sturmwerenskuld with the man. So if that's a criteria,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't count. Men's cycling is super exciting, whatever happens.
Yeah, I know, for example, Lily William is also really strong in bad weather. Yeah, she's always really strong, but
Yeah.
she's like that bad weather rider, I have a feeling. And when I see her coming through the rain, I'm like, whoa. So I hope she can mean something there as well. And I don't think it will be in her disadvantage if it's bad weather. So
And see, with this lineup, Human Powered Health, not to please our guests, but just compared to the EF Education, where you don't get super excited about the 6 riders starting, here you have Talita de Jong and maybe Maggie Lister that are like spearheads for that team that you think like, yeah, they are capable of at least something. They have potential in on
There
this
is
kind
you
of
just feel
in
from
this
this
kind of
line.
race. I mean, of course, do
Yeah.
not underestimate Daria Pikulik, for example, or like Charlotte said, like Lily Williams. I mean, they're strong riders too, but they're like they have like with Talita de Jong and maybe in the shadow maybe for this parkour Maggie. As interesting interesting captains of the team.
Yeah, I really hope it will turn out good because last year it was a bit of we weren't so happy with how the race went, but I think that counts for all teams except
Except for Arkea and Windspace, nobody was pretty happy, I think.
so yeah, sometimes it really looks so strong on paper, and then the race turns out so differently, or accidents happen, or there are echelons. Or I don't know. You can't think about it as crazy. Like you can put a plan on paper, and then in real time it's like totally different. But yeah, I'm really happy to have this team at the start, I think, and to work with them.
Yeah, nice. Then over to Livelula Jacob. For the moment, only 5 riders on the participants list. Maybe it changes.
Like how?
Otherwise, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have Pater Moster, I think, who could do something there. I think that will be their leader. The odds that it will be for the win may be rather small.
Top 10 maybe. Who knows?
Well, then a very exciting team for me. This maybe it has something to do with a certain She Rides guest who top 10 last year. Margot van Pachtenbeek is in there. Top 10 are not always exciting with Margot at the start, of course. We also have Shirin van Anrooy, tipped, of course, by Audrey Cordon-Rago as the rider who will make the big step up to compete with the big favorites. We have the young Fleur Moos as well, starting. Anna Henderson, yeah, we all know how strong she is. Luz Aardige is new to the team, and Elisa Balsamo. I'm really seeing here a team that really will race, or I hope so. They really have the team for it, maybe some anticipation. I would love to see it. I don't think they will wait for a sprint with Balsamo, I think.
Yeah, a lot of options with Little Track, I think. If they make it boring, the race, then you have Balsamo who can do something with the final sprint. If she get there, yeah, you never know. You have Anna Henderson, who's always ready to race. Fleur Moors, Shirin van Anrooy, Margot van Pachtenbeek, they're all capable to set things on fire. So yeah, very balanced and interesting squad, I think, for Little Track.
Yeah. From the one She Rides guest to the other, and I think possibly one of the favorites maybe for the win, or for sure one of the outsiders, Kat Ferguson. And she's bringing with her Bianique, Gutierrez, Lippert, also want to watch Lloyd and Sierra. Exciting how Kat will survive the Flemish hills there. To see how far she will get.
Team is built for Kat, for Omloop. It's made for her. It's that's pretty clear. And I have high expectations. If there's one Flemish classic that she can win already, might be Omloop Het Nieuwsblad.
I was thinking Wevelgem, but yeah, in Flanders Field.
Don't know. You always underestimate in Flanders Field from Wevelgem to Wevelgem, whatever they're gonna call it. You always think on paper like, yeah, against Wevelgem, that's it, easy going. It's never. So don't know. Nieuwsblad early on the season, she's in good shape.
I think she will be there, but to really win, I think it will be. But we will see. Would be very cool. Then we have
be too surprised.
Have Picnic. I think you maybe want to mention some sort of a very, very, very outsider, exciting pick.
It's a dark horse to many people because they just don't know Lucy Fitius. But you never know. She can. She will surprise us this season. I think she made the step up from the Saint Michel team last season now to Team Picnic Postenel. she's not bad. Of course, I put her as a joker.
Yeah, we will get to that later on.
Saar, yeah, of course. So she really is a dark horse, but I just
Yeah.
want to mention her name, like get people aware of Lucy Ficius for this season.
True. We also have, of course, Mia Griffin, Josie Nelson. I'm seeing Audrey de Keersmaker with the number 1 of the team, so maybe she will also show something there. It's exciting because pre-season we were like, picnic, what will they do? So will be good to see them in some of the Flemish classics, what comes out. Visma as well with 5. Yeah, you can say we didn't really predict this. They do just have a very small team, and if Prevost and Vos only ride like 6 races, then it's gonna be hard to fill your rosters, obviously. But we have She Rides, yes, of course, who counts for 2. Imogen
And
Wolf.
looking forward. Yes,
Yeah.
looking forward to her.
Yeah. And they also have Veenhoven, Hengeveld. Not the team that will normally be up there fighting for the first spot, but still quite an exciting team.
Would be exciting if you add Vos to the mix, but
Yeah.
she's not there. So
Isn't she? Will she do Strade? I think so. And Prevost as well or not? I don't know.
No, Saar. She races like 5 or 6 races, but I don't know which ones exactly.
But I think at least one more than Prevost.
Okay.
For X, we have like the false one, Susanne Andersen, Zanetti. It are all a bit like far picks. Maybe if a bigger group gets to the finish, but maybe try to break. Vigilia is a proof she can do a good breakaway in Tour Down Under.
Yeah. This is something different than Tour Down Under.
But she has the experience already this season.
True. Fingers crossed. Yeah, Linda Zanetti will not make it unless it will be a bunch sprint. I think Susanne Andersen maybe, but still, I would expect me Ottestad in this kind of parcours. Like give her more chances than that. So.
Then for UAE, no longer Borghini yet. We do have Backstedt, the other one, of course. Gasparini, I think, some that's like gets easily forgotten, or at least I feel like I forget her too much, but she's always up there, so Gasparini might be one to watch. Gillespie again, she's strong, but not on the level I think that she will be. Up there, Jastrap is there, Swinkles, Chapman. Again, just a stack team from UE. They don't have any weak riders to call it in their roster. They are all very strong and can do all do a very strong performance. So I'd say maybe
watch out for Swinkles.
Of course. She's also quite strong. She has proven this season.
It's like you said about Gasparini. Swinkles is always a rider you forget to mention as well, and then she's on the list, and it's like, shit, yes, Swinkles is there too. Damn it, forgot about her.
That's what you have when you have so stacked team with UAE. It's like, that's also a good one from that team. Then maybe the next ones we can go over a little bit quicker. For Cofidis, Aldini, Berthaud, Boras, Bouleva, Valentin Fortin. Maybe a nice result for Berthaud, but that might be it. Break.
Well, Nerlo became second last year, so you never know. They're in the category you never know.
Laboral with Eraso, Fidanza, Ariane, Fiorin, Soto, Tonetti, Van 't Geloof. Again, like not the big winners, I would say. For Lotto, Intermarché, ladies. By the way, I've never got back to it, but good they didn't do Christmas vibes. It stayed too rad. Just realized I never said anything.
The jerseys are nice, actually. Yeah. It's not a Christmas tree.
They have Katrijn de Klerk, Rietman, Anna van Wersch. She was doing quite good in last year's classic, so maybe if she puts that step up, she can show herself. We have, of course, a new team, Ma Petite Entreprise, but maybe Latimier or one of the others. But yeah.
You never know.
You never know. Then I'm just practicing my team names here. Mayenne, Montbana, My Pai. Such a ridiculous name. I'm sorry, but I don't know if. Also, you never know, or you see a name
You never know.
Saint Michel, Preference Home, blah blah blah. We have Alison Jackson and Anya Granger, maybe. Former
She
groupie?
topped 20th 2 years
Yeah,
ago,
exactly.
so she's capable of a result. So you never know.
Yeah.
Early breakaway category.
Different.
Early breakaway category.
I just realized, yeah, and then the final one, if I'm correctly, is Minimax. As mentioned, another She Rides guest, Emily Fortin. Early breakaway category as well. Or?
Yeah, Max.
So yeah, that was the Omloop. I think the conclusions are the big teams are coming with quite a stacked field if they fill the team roster. And lots of She Rides guests. Lots. Which is nice.
That's what happens when you keep continuing the episode 63 already of the podcast. So
yeah, last year I think we had with Mieke, one rider at the Omloop who sadly can be there. Boo UCI, but details. So yeah, it's been a huge progression there. Maybe we're introducing something new. So we're doing stars. Charlotte isn't prepared, so I won't dump her.
Charlotte isn't prepared. Throw it under the bus.
But I can start, and I'm gonna go with the obvious one.
Oh, wait for it. Yes, go for your one.
Yeah.
Go for your first star.
Charlotte Vandenberghe, of course. Who would have thought? Then I'm doing 2 stars for Lorena Wiebes and Demi Vollering. Because normally I wouldn't maybe give Demi immediately 2 stars on this parcours, but her sprint was looking very sharp, so that's why she got upgraded to that category. And then 1 star more as he works with Bredewald, and then Borghese, Ferguson, and then as my joker I'm going for Franziska Koch.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Right. My 3 stars are Lotte Kopecky as well, Saar.
Yeah. So much.
I feel under pressure, I have to. No. And the good thing is, with the women's racing, you can predict the same winner for Omloop as Tour of Flanders, because with the men's race, when you win the Omloop, you will never win the Tour of Flanders. Luckily, with women's cycling, this is still possible. So I go for Lotte. She will have a lot. She will have a lot of proof to herself, I think. She's full of energy. She comes off of a splendid Euros on the track. I think she's going to be hungry to show that she's back.
Do you need anything from me, Kristof, or just genuinely also hyping up Lotte Kopecky? Because I love it. We're really starting the season off strong. Let's go.
So if you want to get Saar quiet on the podcast, just start hyping up Lotte Kopecky yourself. No, I think she will be very hungry to prove everyone wrong. Not sure if she really thinks about that, but I think she will be hungry to take this one. And parcours is suited for her. When it's gonna rain, maybe when the circumstances will get tougher.
Parcours changed a bit. I think so.
Yeah, a bit, but still, it's Muur Bosberg.
But I was thinking of it because I'm not really the parkour person, but I noticed you also didn't say anything about the parkour. So, no, the parkour changed a bit.
Yeah, true, but still, yeah, the final shift is on the iconic duo of the Muur Bosberg, of course, and the first shift is made on the duo Haaghoek Leeberg.
Yeah,
I mean it's the classic scenario, I think. First tickles in the peloton on the Molenberg, and then you have Haaghoek Leeberg for the shift, and then the final explosion on Muur Bosberg, of course, and then just die towards Ninove because it's longer than you think. So yeah, sure. My 2 stars, Saar, Kat Ferguson. As said, I expect a lot from her in the Omloop. If there's one spring classic she takes. It's this one, I think. Zoe Bäckstedt as well. I go for the youngsters. Full potential. I think first race of the season. Maybe not everybody of the favorites still sharp as a knife yet. So you never know. And my 1 stars, Demi, of course, cannot forget about her. Leti Borghesi and Talita de Jong. Because I think she has the spark again this season. So I'm very curious what she's capable of in Omloop. And like I said, my joker, Lucy Fietjes, as I go for it. Dark horse.
Nice. Some changes. I also want to mention Shirin van Androoy again. I wanted to put her in there, but I didn't have enough space there. Yeah, we can just like round the Omloop maybe off with our predictions. And Charlotte, you prepared those, so maybe you can just start.
Well,
She did a full study.
I have Lotte Kopecky on my first place. Yeah, so I follow you a bit on the star system, and 5th place I have, and I hope it will be better, but I have for Talita de Jong. And then 10th place was really difficult. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 riders that I can't choose between. I have Swinkels, Lippert, Van Androoy, and Zoe Bäckstedt. And I think we mentioned all 4 of that, but I'll go for it's difficult. I'd like to say Van Androoy, but I hope and I think she deserves to get a bit more higher up, and I think Leopard will be higher up, and maybe also I'll go for Van Androoy because I really like her.
Okay.
Yeah, well, 1 Kopecky, obviously, she's my 3 stars. She's hungry. If she's in the mood, I think nobody's gonna beat her. On 5, I go for. I cannot say Talita de Jong. Damn it. Go for Zoe Bäckstedt. And on 10, I go for Lucy Fietjes.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so on 1, the obvious, just leave it like that, Lotte Kopecky. Really looking forward. The sign is ready, of course, actually already a couple of weeks, but it is ready.
You made a sign?
Yeah. Every year I have a sign. This one is from I have it here from like the last couple of months when she wasn't world champion anymore. Then the one behind you see there is from when I went to the Olympics. And then I have one more that's hanging there. You can see right now, I think. But that's from the year she was world champion. So last year till Rwanda, I think. And then the one that is now, it's protected against the water, is downstairs. So with the change of the kit, and always the same name, Lotte Superwoman Kopecky on it. So
oh, nice.
So yeah, that one is ready. I am as well. I think the goal is to do both team presentations, then head to the Holloweg, maybe see the man. That will be a close call, but we'll try. Then definitely see the women there, and then the finish. So will be very nice.
Busy day.
Yeah, busy day, exactly. An early day, always with the but on 5, I'm going into the AG vibe. I really believe as well that Sherry Bossuet can do something nice, but I'm sort of feeling first race of the season, the 5th will go to Borghese. And then on 10, I'm saying Bredewold. You could expect maybe she ends up higher, but there's a theory Bredewold will do a lead out for Wiebes, and she will like ease a bit up till the end, so that's why she will get 10th. So that was it for the Omloop. I think that was okay-ish. For length, we will also do the other 2 races, but I will try to keep it a bit shorter. So no Kurve Brussel Kurve for the women, but another exciting race, Omloop van het Hageland. Last year we had Femke Gerritsen win it with beautiful teamwork of Anna van der Berghe. Again, Femke Gerritsen does get the chance to start with her own number 1. So she's starting For the team, quite an exciting team actually, with some youngsters also there, Kopetsky, Van Belle, and stuff like that. Then one of the favorites, I think, for Hageland, Sherry Bosset, is starting for AG. It's like a mix with their Devo team as well. Then for Phoenix, we have Millie Cousins, maybe Marte Truije as well. If I missed someone, you can just pick in. We have for Little Trek, Copponi, Henderson, Moors van Pachtebeke. Couple of same names as the day before. Holmgren as well. Then for Visma, exciting to see what Claudia can do. She was doing quite well last races of the cyclocross season. And then we of course have Imogen Wolf again for UE. Venturelli, nice to see what she can do in this field. But of course, Lara Gillespie. I think that one is also one that could compete. And again, Caroline Swinkels is there as well. So definitely one of the stronger non-pure sprinters out there. We have some of like the more dark horses like a Valentine Fortuyn, Ariana Fidanza, Katrijn de Klerk for Lotto. We have Vera Tieleman, who has been doing a good classic season last year. And of course we have Mieke Dox. She can still ride some classics, so it will be super nice to see what she can do. I think there's a lot of motivation in Mieke, so super excited what she can get out of it in her first races. We have Alison Jackson for Saint Michel. We have the two Knaven sisters for City Mesh. O'Shea is starting as well. They are bringing Julie van der Molen. Super nice to see. Then Emily Fortuyn is also starting again. Then Tanara Grove, who switched team to Smurfit, is also starting. We have a couple of more smaller teams there. What are you thinking for the race, Kristof?
My head is basically entirely with Omloop. When you are from Ghent, when you grew up in Ghent, it's always like Omloop, and then you're like, yeah, it's Hageland too. It's like, oh yeah, Hageland and Le Sommet. Yeah, oh right. So
I have the same.
super difficult to switch to Hageland. I'm like, oh yeah, Hageland, shit. Oh, I need to start thinking about that too. Also an exciting race, but of course completely in the shadow of Omloop, of course.
But like the thing is, in Belgium there's like the Sporza Wheeler manager. I also think it's like the team is a bit too small to really be able to make the difference there with some outsider names. But apart from that, like Hageland also counts, and I try to motivate a lot of people around me to play the game, so I know, because if they are playing the game, they are actually following the race, and I try to motivate them. And then mostly on day 2, it's like, oh, why didn't you tell me the women were also racing? So it's like a race that's always overseen a bit. But really, if you have the time, go to their website or to Proximus. They will have a free live stream, non-GR restricted as always. So most of the time, a great race to watch. I'm feeling it. Sherry Bosset is gonna take this one.
Yeah. Good take, Shari. Also, like, who knows, Margot? It's not as stacked as Omloop, so who knows? Fleur Moors, also capable of doing crazy stuff. Copponi, of course. Margot Vigier from Visma Leasebike.
One to beat,
Yeah.
of course.
So yeah. Some exciting riders in there. That's for sure. But like you said, like I'm gonna follow you with your Shari Bosset pick. Yeah.
Easy.
Of course, because she's the parent of the Rousselare team as well. So go Shari.
Then we also have Le Sommet, and I don't know if you're ready for it, but to compensate there is some human-powered help at the start, so maybe that makes it acceptable. So Sommet won it last year. A sprinter, Kristof. A very fast sprinter. An unbeatable sprinter.
Are you waiting for me to say?
No, for Kristof actually, but he's gonna answer me, I'm afraid.
I'm not gonna take the bait.
Yeah, so Wiebes won it. She's not starting this year.
I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Until she said like a very fast sprinter.
I
was like, oh yeah.
Wiebes, but I don't remember it actually.
Yeah, no, it's because I did my research, because I I didn't know either. It was Wiebes before Zanetti, Gillespie, Gladys
yeah,
Vergaes,
Zanetti was
Baker,
second. That I remember.
Schweinberger, and so on. So, do we have some sort of a favorite or one of the favorites in human powered health?
Maggie, is Maggie going to race some in,
Yes.
Charlotte?
She's on the
Check.
list.
I thought she was, yes.
Yeah, she's on the list.
Ooh,
So
nice.
that's why I was asking, of course.
Let me check. Yeah, Catherine as well, of
Yeah.
course. Catherine's, and I thought Daria was going there as well.
Yeah, she's also.
So, and let me
Full
check
of
if
some in.
Sylvia was also going, but I'm hesitating if Sylvia is going to be there, because then we would have a magnificent sprinting train, but I don't think she will be there. Let me check.
At the
Oh yeah,
moment,
she will.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the start.
So the four of them will be there: Catherine, Maggie, Daria, and Sylvia. So that will be a high-speed train, and then also Daria's sister, Victoria.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think this race is also very suitable for Catherine, actually, with the cobbles, the Samain. So I would guess Catherine in this one.
Who do we have? Gillespie might be one of the favorites as well. We again have the duo Zanetti Anderson for UX. We have Charlotte Cole, but the question if it's gonna be like a UE tour, it will be a hard one. By the way, I saw something about on Fien van Enen's Instagram. I was hyping her up for the classics, but she won't be able to race those. She got ill in UAE, and apparently it was quite bad, so she's out for the classic season, which is super sad because I was really convinced that she was gonna be my big revelation for the spring classics, and now she's out, so that's super sad.
There goes prediction number 1.
Exactly. But it's okay. Her health is more important, but still super sad because
sure.
I felt like she was really on that edge of breaking through for sure. And like races as maybe no concussion as a Saman, as in those sort of races. So sad for her, really. Sad for
heavy
the
already
team as
the
well,
whole-
I
yeah.
think, because for the moment Charlotte Cole hasn't shown her best sprinting legs, and they have shown that for the team they Fien van En is their first choice before Julie de Wilde, so will be a loss for them. They do have Tristina Schweinberger, who is always very good,
Always
solid,
good.
and
Such a good all-rounder.
so yeah, human powered health. We talked about that. AG also brings some fast riders. Ilse Plemmers, Gallus Verhulst, Wild, I think maybe Wolf Bastiansen. Those will be the riders in the mix for them. Then surprisingly here Livalula does have a full team. We have Paternoster, Baker, also looking for it, maybe not exactly in this race, but Caroline Andersen. She was riding very well at the end of the season, the championships. But I'm maybe more looking forward to see her in a Strade and those kind of races done in the summer. Then for picnic, Barbieri, Griffin, Nelson, some fast women as well.
Nelson, yeah. Nice dark horse.
Again, Emily Fortin is riding again there. Then for Volkers Vessels, we have Dijkstra and Knenenberg, who did a great race there last year. Doesn't have their team out, but maybe Miku as well for a late move attack or something. That'd be nice. So we have EF with like a Magner, Volstad, Van der Wolf for like top 10 wise, maybe in a sprint. O'Shea is starting as well with again Julie at the start list. Then Anna van Wersch maybe again. And I think that are the most important names starting there. So you still have anything shocking to add?
No, just exciting.
Okay.
Just exciting to get the Omloop starting.
All the other races, I don't care. No. For Samen, I would go with a surprise, and I would say maybe Susanne Andersen. And then maybe you want to pick a human-powered health rider.
I will pick Schweinberger, Catherine. Catherine Schweinsteiger, of course. The other one is not in our team, but I'll go for her.
You wanna do something?
Do something. I go for Josie Nelson.
Okay. Then I asked, obviously way too late. Could I have done this 24 hours beforehand to get some more hot takes or questions in? For sure, I didn't do it. I only gave them about 2 hours to react something. But I have a few hot takes to start with, and you guys can answer if you think there's a chance it will happen or totally not. The first one is Kim LeCour wins Sanremo and the Tour of Flanders. I don't know if she's starting in Sanremo, but
No. No.
why not?
Kim is not winning Flanders. No.
Who is?
Flanders.
Yeah.
Kopecky or Longoborghini.
Good
One of the
answer
two.
yet again. I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't give like a harsh no.
No. Of course, yeah, it's still Kim LeCour. But if you have your eyes and mind set on the Ardennes Classics,
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
It's asking a little bit too much of a stretch to peak for Flanders as well. I think.
She is definitely doing fun, but I think maybe one of them could be possible, but
Yeah.
two.
But still, even Sanremo with the parcours, it's not hard enough for the Kim LeCours to win
Yeah,
it.
do you think? I think last year, if Lotte Kopecky is in the shape she was the year before Longoborghini goes, I think Lotte is there as well, and who's gonna close the gap? So why would LeCour not be able to be there?
She's always capable, Saar. But I think with Kim LeCour's profile for a Milan Sanremo, it's not hard. It's maybe not hard enough. There's too much other riders that make a chance as well, and that are faster than Kim maybe in a final sprint. So no, I'm waiting for her for the Ardennes Classics.
Interesting. I do see her compete in the Tour of Flanders. Maybe not winning, but I think she will be close there. Of course, not winning. I need to save that one. Another one is Fleur Moors takes a big win. Not sure what we mean by a big win, but Fleur Moors takes a big win these classics.
She does.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Semi-classic, or what are you thinking?
Semi-classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, define big wins.
Take it easy. She's not there yet, at least for the big classics.
But yeah, could be. She's a little track, so.
Yeah, never say never, of course. But yeah, she can.
One more. Clearly, the people listening to the podcast, they are with us on the bias train, because the next one is Margot van Pachtenbeke wins the Brabants Pijl this year. She could.
Hey, why not? Let's go.
I'm actually like Wevelgem would be nice, close to her hometown. But that's a harder one. She's strong enough on the climb, but then she needs to get away with someone who's slower. So Brabants Pijl might be easier. But also the participants list is a lot of the time quite impressive. So, but she's on the right team for it. I wouldn't say a hard no. But
yeah, give her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Yes, Margot wins Brabantse Pijl. Of course she does. Yeah.
The only thing is, I think we're aiming too high if we're saying both Fleur Moors and Margot van Pachtenbeke are gonna win a semi or big classic. But both may be possible. And then we have some sort of a guessing game. Which classic will have the most finishers this season?
Sanremo. Yeah. It's too short.
You said Sanremo.
Sanremo is too
You said Sanremo.
Yeah.
Or what did you say? I have no idea, actually. Do you have an idea? You can always add if you want.
What was your question again, Saar?
Someone asked which classic will have the most finishers.
The most finishers? Yeah. Oh, that's a difficult one.
I guess he already claimed Sanremo, so...
You can go Sanremo as well, Charlotte. I think it's just on paper the easiest one. It's not selective enough. It's too short to be selective.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Sanremo as well. So I would say if Gent-Wevelgem is really dry, sun's out, 17 degrees, but
Yeah,
only then.
if, Saar.
Only then. And otherwise, I would also say Sanremo. But in Flanders fields in 70 degrees with the sun out, not too much wind, then there's going to be the most finishers.
A lot of ifs for Gent-Wevelgem.
Well, yeah, but probably
I don't know.
Sanremo. I could agree on that. But if the ifs count, I go for in Flanders fields. Yeah, I think we talked enough about the classics. Or we talked enough about the classics. Maybe we can just round this up with our special section for the classics countdown, of course. So we're not done yet. So Charlotte, I'm gonna give you a couple of sentences and you can just complete them. My favorite classic is
De Ronde.
this classic will be won by a human-powered health rider in 2026.
I would say dwars door Vlaanderen. Just like Paulus did last year against 3 Visma leaders. We will do it against 3 SD Works leaders. No, I'm not sure. That's
Nice
a very
prediction.
dangerous
If this
prediction.
becomes true, you should, yeah.
Then I win something, right?
Yeah, okay.
Then you need to give me the prize of the best prediction.
Yeah, or if I can bring you cookies. If you're right, I'll bring you cookies to the race.
I can live with that.
Fair enough.
Then this classic will be the most exciting one.
Maybe a bit strange, but I'll go for Liège-Bastogne-Liège because going all in for the last one and the last 2 years, I thought the final was really exciting.
And who's gonna win there?
I don't know. It can be everybody. It's no, I won't make a prediction there because I also don't know
Speaking
who's
for-
going to
for
be at the
very
start
specific
line there.
Ones.
I think that was the most unpredicted race, and like last year we had Kim LeCour, and who was it before that? Was it Grace Brown?
Yeah.
I think it was really nice because it was totally different than the other classics. So I'm really looking forward to that one, and I will think we get another new winner who never won it. That's my prediction.
Okay. Nice.
Druk wins Liège.
Oh, that would be nice.
Boys.
Why not?
Then my classics hot take is
What will I say now? I would say never underestimate Zoe Bakstedt. She will win against Wiebes.
Ooh. The hot take.
I mean,
You wanted the hot take. to
Yeah,
get the hot take.
nice. Okay, this
Yeah,
is also
I was-
material. If she beats
I was-
Wiebes, then
yeah. I was with you with never underestimate Zoe Bakstedt, but then when you say like now
Or
we have a
Maggie
hot take.
Poelsmeister, she was really close in UAE the first day.
yeah,
She
exactly.
touched the wheel, but she was. And then I thought, it is possible. There will be a day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure.
That was what Maggie told us as well. We're coming closer and closer.
Yeah.
So curious to see if it will be Zoe Bakstedt who does it. And then the final one is the most special thing about the Flemish classics is
No other country can match the atmosphere of the Flemish classics. The excitement you forget everything at the moment and you just enjoy the race. It's really a day out in Belgium. So yeah, it's cliche as it sounds, but it's really the atmosphere.
it came back a lot of times, so you must be right. Only Lieselotte Kroijs with her crazy answer of the little split in the tarmac roads here in Flanders, but overall we all
Really dangerous.
the same answers. So yeah, I think we can round this episode up here. If you're still here, congrats. It was it was a long one to be expected when there's such a big weekend coming up. I would say to everyone listening, enjoy the weekend. For those who are gonna watch live or who are gonna watch behind the TV, the classics are here. The most beautiful part of the year has started, so enjoy it all. And to you, Charlotte, thank you for joining us today. It was super interesting to both hear your takes on working at Human Powered Health and hear your exciting hot takes. And we hope you won't need to treat too many emergencies the spring season.
I hope so. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so that's a wrap for episode 63. Right? Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rides.
Absolutely. Women's cycling is packed with action, and we're here to bring you every twist and turn.
Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, or YouTube so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more listeners.
And follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates and more.
Thanks to Charlotte for joining us today, and don't hesitate to share questions or topics you'd like us to cover.
And stay tuned for more exciting guests. Tag She Rides podcast on Blue Sky to show off your knowledge, and She Rides is powered by Kariam Endurance Coaching.
Thanks for listening to She Rides, the podcast where women's cycling takes the lead. Keep watching the fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.